In the headlines to the CBC NewsNight, a new system coming to improve patient care at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Life imprisonment for sexual intercourse with a child under 16 among changes proposed to the Sexual Offences Bill. Increased penalties coming for those who use spaces designated for the disabled illegally. And in sports, Danes and Wharton score exciting wins to move on to the quarterfinals of the Prime Minister's Cup.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome to the CBC NewsNight. I'm Wendy Burke. The new Queen Elizabeth Hospital Chief Executive Officer Neil Clark has announced what he says will be a game changer at the healthcare facility. It's a health information system. He says the system will capture the data necessary for more informed decisions to be taken. Mr. Clark was speaking during the Pulse radio show on CBC's Q100.7 FM.
How the clinicians work within the hospital. It will help develop the pathways through the hospital, and it will just capture things in real time, as opposed to currently the manual data collection by going through numerous files. And I know from complaints I hear about patient records and the files not being available because those files might be out with a doctor at the time somebody's looking for them. Having everything available real time with multiple access points will be a game changer for the Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
Mr. Clark also says additional staff and equipment have been ordered for the QEH.
Additional doctors, senior doctors, will be recruited to work within the A&E department to help us manage that flow through the department. We've also got additional clinical staff coming in to support the theatres, so we can get more activity through the theatre departments. We've got a big piece of equipment on its way to us, the linear accelerator, which will transform how we deliver oncology services, and that's already started to arrive on the island.
If amendments to the Sexual Offences Bill become a law, persons found guilty of having sexual intercourse with a child under 16 could face life in prison. The bill was passed in the House of Assembly last week and must now go before the Senate. Last night on CBC TV8's The People's Business program, Minister of Home Affairs and Information Wilfred Abrams expanded on several aspects of the document. He explained under current legislation, the court would allow for the lesser charge of sex with a minor rather than rape. In some cases where children ages 14 or 15 willingly engage in a sexual act.
Is under 16 years old. It does not matter whether they were a willing participant. It is no rape. So people used to say before statutory rape, and they meant sex with anybody under 16. That wasn't actually true for Barbados because the charge 14 to 16 was sex with a minor. But now we actually do have effectively statutory rape. It does not matter whether the child is consenting, willing, instigated it, set it up. If you have sex with a child under 16 years of age, then that is rape.
The bill also addresses the matter of grooming, which involves a person meeting or communicating with a child with the intention of committing a sexual act. In this instance, the individual could be jailed for 20 years.
Once you're encouraging or trying to cultivate a relationship with a child for the purpose of encouraging that child or getting that child into a sexual act, right, then you are doing something wrong. So you can't dance to the line and just not cross it and use the technicality that, well, nothing happened. If it is reasonable to assume based on what you have done that you were trying to get the child comfortable for the purpose of furthering your relationship with the child, then that would actually be grooming.
Meanwhile, President of the Men Empowerment Network Support, Fabian Sargent, has welcomed the proposed amendments. He believes public education and support for parents will be key.
Because we've got a lot of parents who are suffering from these same childhood traumas, who were we say interfered, but who were abused sexually as children, and who are still dealing with it. And to even have that, to start that conversation it's painful because it brings back memories, you know, and sometimes that also contributes to how someone parents. Sometimes they're overprotected and how they treat that child. And sometimes they have good intentions, but those good intentions go down a negative road where children start to respond differently to how a parent may be hard on them, as you would say, major paralysis, you know.
Meanwhile, Barbadians are being told they can no longer turn a blind eye to domestic violence and sexual abuse. This is the reaction of President of the National Organization of Women, Melissa Savory Gittins, who's been responding to amendments to the Sexual Offences Act. She was speaking during an installation ceremony at the First Baptist Church, the city.
One of our main concerns is the backlog of cases involving the sexual abuse of minors. Many of these children are already facing vulnerabilities such as poverty and neglect. Justice delayed is justice denied. And it is unacceptable that these children must wait years, sometimes to become adults, till their abusers are held accountable.
Ms. Savory Gittins is calling for specialized courts which will fast-track cases of sexual abuse, particularly those involving minors. Additionally, she says stronger prevention programs in schools and communities are needed.
The Attorney General, dated May 2023, we outlined several changes we believe are essential. These include the establishment of a domestic violence court with trained magistrates and court staff who understand the complexity of these cases. We are also advocating for mandatory counseling for both victims and perpetrators of domestic violence to ensure the healing and rehabilitation are prioritized. We are heartened by some of the recent amendments to the Sexual Offences Act, including harsher penalties for those who engage in sexual activity with minors and criminalization of exposing children to sexual content.
A warning to justices of the peace about improper use of the responsibility given to them. This morning, 23 of them took the oath of office before President of Barbados, the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason. They're the first of 344 to be sworn in at State House this week. Rachel Agard reports.
The office of Justice of the Peace should not be taken lightly, and those who disgrace the office should be prosecuted. That's the warning given to 23 new Justices of the Peace by President of Barbados, the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason. She's concerned JPs do things they are not legally entitled to do, like charging people for services rendered.
Think of yourself as somebody who has taken high judicial office, and you know what's expected of persons who do that.
Minister of Home Affairs Wilfred Abrams has reminded them of the importance of the office.
It is a very serious position within communities. It's a justice. It's just below, I guess, the magistracy and the judiciary. But it is not something to be taken lightly. It is a very heavy responsibility. And for those who have been entrusted with it, all I say is congratulations to you, and do whatever you need to do to carry the office with honesty, integrity, and ensure that the office of the Justice of Peace is always respected.
Chief Executive Officer of Digital Barbados Limited, Natalie Abrams, says any opportunity to serve and give back to Barbados is an honor and privilege.
Absolutely, you must take the privilege seriously. It's about being accessible, and it certainly is about making sure that you treat with each person that comes to you for help equally, and then definitely referring persons where your powers are limited, where they can actually get help. So again, it's about being of service to the community.
Meanwhile, event producer DeCarla Applewhite, who follows in her father's footsteps, has pledged to honor the new position.
How do you garner respect if you take advantage of persons? And I don't think that, that's the role at all. I think as a person who people lend to for advice and, based on the knowledge, so to speak, that it gives us an elevation, and we should respect that elevation. And I hope that my fellow JPs who would have taken the oath this morning will continue that good work.
The remaining JPs will be sworn in by the end of the week. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Those who flout the law with respect to disabled people in their parking spaces could face stiffer penalties up to $5,000. The National United Society of the Blind Barbados hosted a walkabout through the Warren's business community to highlight some of the challenges in an area that was not created for pedestrian traffic. Rachel Agard met the group ahead of their walk from Warren's office towers and filed this report.
By 2050, 70% of the world will be living in an environment where man-made or modified structures that provide people with living, working, and recreational space exist. This is according to a report by the World Blind Unit titled Closing the Accessibility Gap. And with tomorrow marked as White Cane Safety Day, Public Relations Officer of the National United Society of the Blind Barbados, Carrie-Ann Eiffel, says more needs to be done to include those with disabilities.
That is why we have to start now ensuring that as we go forward, our urban spaces are inclusive of all persons with a variety of disabilities and challenges. Yeah. As we try to move into our own homes, we need to be able to find accessible pedestrian areas, accessible bus stops, places that are safe for us to congregate. And that is why we're highlighting this and highlighting that we are independent people.
Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Kirk Humphrey, meanwhile, has a message for individuals who continue to park in spaces allocated for those with disabilities.
Accessibility for persons who are blind and otherwise disabled has to be improved. Therefore, we have to retrofit some buildings. We have to look at a number of the roads and in relation to how the roads are built. I know there's a policy change now that should soon be done in the regulations to move the fee from $500 to $5,000 as the punishment for parking in the spots for persons with disabilities. We have to enforce that, but a lot of the things that need changing don't require law. It just requires that people treat other people like human beings.
Disabilities advocate Edmund Hinkson is urging Barbadians to see members of the community as people with the same needs.
People with disabilities have the right, like everyone else, like all of us under the Constitution, and basic human right to be able to participate fully in the Barbadian society, and accessibility is clearly a key aspect of that. Accessibility to both man-made environment, buildings, as Minister Humphrey said, as well as to natural environment, because they're entitled to be able to fulfill their potential.
The group is hopeful Barbados will become a more inclusive society. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Coming up, breadfruit identified as the ultimate food crop.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
The Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training advises parents and guardians of students of St. Luke's Brighton Primary that there will be no in-person classes tomorrow. Following complaints of a strong odor today, the school was closed. Air quality testing will be conducted tomorrow. Efforts are being stepped up to promote greater use of breadfruit to reduce wheat imports and help control non-communicable diseases. This was a major talking point at the Culture of Cuisine talks held at the Hunter Spring last night as part of the Barbados Food and Rum Festival. The renewed focus on breadfruit as an ultimate food source comes with food security top of the agenda for Barbados and other countries in the region. Dr. Sonia Peter, a natural herbalist, chemist, historian, and the executive director of the Biocultural Education and Research Program, is stressing the importance of the region being able to feed itself.
I have a real concern about food security in Barbados, and I think that it's important that we make persons aware of the versatility of our plant resource, and that's what we're doing here today with breadfruit.
She adds every aspect of the breadfruit is usable, including the bark. It has also become popular in the agro-processing sector. Bernice Chase has been developing new products from the fruit with Dr. Peters' help. She says she started using it in abundance because of an allergy to wheat.
Barbados imports $4.2 million US a year into the island in wheat. Now, if we start to eat what we have here, it's local, that's our breadfruit, our sweet potatoes, our cassavas, and those things, I believe that we will be a healthier nation. Okay? I believe that the NCDs will come down. And this breadfruit came about because this lady here pushed me, right? And the breadfruit is so versatile. I'm not only doing pasta, there's also snacks that can come out from it. You can have biscuits. Well, I've done quite a number of breads and so on. There's a challah bread, which is a Jewish bread that I do with the breadfruit.
Local chefs like Adrian Cumberbatch are also making full use of it.
We go through about 400 to 500 breadfruits per week. We also do, for summer cooking camp, with the versatility of the breadfruits, we do, the kids made a roast breadfruit ice cream and roast breadfruit muffins. So that's the versatility for the kids with the breadfruit. So that's why we push a lot of breadfruits too as well, like people. But tonight, I did a breadfruit gnocchi. That's the one that tastes like a dumpling. And then the roast breadfruit with the saltfish bojo and the stewed lentil peas for the vegetarians or the vegans.
Food and Rum continues with events until October 27th. Rastafarians' right to use cannabis will be among the issues Barbados and other Caribbean countries will be advocating for on the world stage. So says Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority, Shanika Roberts-Soto. She was a guest on Morning Barbados, where she provided more details about the recent signing of a Memorandum of Understanding with the Caribbean Cannabis Forum. St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are the other members.
For us to take a serious look at how we work together, because we talk about cannabis here in the Caribbean, but there are conversations in boardrooms in Geneva about how they're going to regulate cannabis and how they're going to ascribe cannabis. And I think particularly we need to take the fight to them, particularly for the Rastafari community. Now, there are lots of issues between long-standing historic issues, and the Rastafari community have earned grievances, absolutely. But we also need to come together and we need to be advocates for them, not just at home, but overseas, because their connection to the plant in a lot of ways that are beyond my scope is really important. And we're trying our best to see how we can work together as islands to protect that.
Brian, the action man Talma, believes he has a plan that can promote and build up his community to make it a tourism hotspot for Barbados. It's called Global Organic Tourism, which will focus on aspects such as sports, culture, health, education, and the environment. Talma, who resides in Silver Sands, says the community has a lot of potential that can be used to attract tourists to the island. He's revealed details about a plan to re-energize the community.
Bring all sports to beach: windsurfing, kite surfing, football, hockey, golf. And when we have the Waterman Festival, I articulate that too. So when we talk sports, I'm talking about every facet. I'm talking about sports, I'm talking about education. In the summer, we had people come and stay at the action apartment that wanted to surf, but they wanted to be in the culture. When we speak culture, so it's a master plan. It has 6 different facets. It's about health, healthy minds. So you understand? So this is what, as I said, health, community, education, sports, culture, and environment. How environment is very important. We talk about this environment every day. I live on the beach. I go to the beach every day. You don't tell me to love the beach. I love the beach. So if you love the sea beach, you treat it nicely.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Morning Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morningbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
It's sports time now with Anne-Marie Burke. Anne-Marie, what's the action?
Well, good evening, Wendy. I can tell you we'll start with football news, as Notre Dame and Wharton FC are the first teams to book a place in the quarterfinals of the Prime Minister's Cup after victories last night at Gall Hill St. John, and that is as the round of 16 kicked off. Spectators are out in their numbers as we're into the do-or-die stages of the Cup. The first matches of the round of 16 at Gall Hill St. John. And we'll start with the game that brought plenty action. In the 12th minute of play, the Mont Piguet capitalized on a mistake from the Notre Dame keeper to put Stars Alliance up 1-0, a position they held up to the half. Stars then doubled that advantage as Zachary Brown picked up the pass on the left flank and the keeper comes off his line. Cardinal mistake. Brown the man to put his team up 2-0 in the 63rd. Stars smelling that quarterfinal place. But Danes were not going to let that happen so easily. We're now 72 minutes in and watch as Dario Hayes masterfully turned the ball into the net. Dames on the score sheet to make it 2-1. Dames kept pressing hard, and what looked like a goal in the making instead saw Arthur brought down, so you know that meant a free kick was awarded. And the man tasked with trying to execute was Jamar Peter Crouch Gazette, and he did so like a boss. 6 minutes from time, he turned the game on its head to send the match into extra time as we're locked at 2-2. And with the deadlock going right to extra time, even the penalties took it to sudden death. Murphy scores for Dames. And so Precious placed on Stars goal scorer Brown to deliver again. A miss. Dames have a lifeline. He scores. Stars are through. But watch as the keeper Pierre denies him and all shifts to Dames. And then it was keeper for keeper. This is where it was all settled. All Stars keeper Murphy is denied, and that's it. Notre Dame have booked their quarterfinal place. Celebrations galore. Looking to follow suit was either Wharton or Parishland, and Wharton stated their intent early as Jabari Papi Chandler slots into the left pocket in the 19th. In the 37th, it will be double the lead as Chandler is brought down in the box and the ref points to the spot. And here he goes from 12 yards. It's nestled home. Wharton up 2-0, all thanks to Chandler. And the icing on the cake came in the 60th as the man whose foot was on fire was at it again, collecting the cross and sealing the deal. Chandler's hat trick, but Wharton's place into the quarters over Parishland. To cricket now, New Zealand are into the semi-finals of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup. In a must-win final preliminary game today at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium, New Zealand women defeated Pakistan women to finish second in Group A. The Kiwis opted to bat first, but were kept to 110 for 6. Susie Bates top scored with 26, while Nashra Sandhu took 3 for 18. The Pakistan women, who also had a slight chance of qualifying via net run rate, provided they had scored the 111-run target in 10.4 overs, fell way short as they were bowled out for 56 in 11.4 for New Zealand women to win by 54 runs. Amelia Kerr took 3 for 14, while player of the match Eden Carson had 2 for 7. New Zealand women finished in Group A, that should be Group A, on 6 points behind Australia, who have a perfect 8. Now tomorrow, the other two semi-finalists will be determined from Group B. Both third-place Windies women and first-place England women must win that final preliminary match in order to be sure of moving forward. Now that scenario is more or so for the West Indies, as defeat will mean they're out and England will advance along with South Africa. If, however, the West Indies win, then all 3 teams will be on 6 points. The Windies will win the group and the net run rate will determine the other qualifier. Now that England-West Indies match begins at 10 a.m. and is live on MCTV's ESPN channel 308. Still with cricket, the West Indies men will take an unassailable lead in their T20 International Series with host Sri Lanka if they win tomorrow's second match. The Windies took game 1 yesterday by 5 wickets, and Vice-Captain Roston Chase believes with the improvements in the batting department, the series score will be 2-0 after tomorrow.
It was a good game, good start from the guys. I just think that we played a good game of cricket. We just, after the start that we had from King and Lewis. I just thought that we fell down a bit in the middle overs there. We lost a couple quick wickets. So if that's just one thing that we can concentrate on, not losing wickets in clusters, I think that we'll be even more clinical in winning.
Chase revealed the overall plan is to actually win 3-0 as the regional side aims to become third in the world by the end of the year. Now the second T20 International begins at 9:30 a.m. Well, that's my first look at sports. When I return, the Barbados Tridents football team is gearing up for action tomorrow. So back to you, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Up next on CBC's Newsnight, the Business Report. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Barbados, ICAB, is offering professional development and other benefits to staff and students of the Barbados Community College. Details of the assistance were revealed as the association announced plans for its 50th anniversary celebrations. Trevor Thorpe reports.
ICAB Chief Executive Officer Lisa Padmore said under a recently signed MOU with the BCC, the association will assist the college through curriculum review, professional development of tutors and students, with a view to adding internships in the future.
One of the planned activities under the MOU will be on November 22nd, 2024 at the BCC campus, where the ICAB team and volunteer members will be engaging with students one-on-one, as well as through a series of talks on the accounting profession and career options, and getting ready for the world of work.
Regarding activities for ICAB's 50th anniversary celebrations, she said they include an evening with the Central Bank Governor and the launch of the Accountants Give Back initiative. President Tracy Marshall said ICAB was established when the world of business was expanding. According to her, it is a momentous occasion for the association to be marking half a century of leadership, excellent integrity, and an unwavering commitment to the accounting profession.
Through 5 decades, we have witnessed countless changes in the profession, technological advancements, regulatory reforms, globalization of business, and we have adapted and grown stronger with each change. At ICAB, we are the national standard setters in financial reporting and assurance. We have contributed to the development of legislation that has impacted the business landscape. We played and will continue to play a pivotal role in the development of the economy of Barbados.
Associate partner at Ernst & Young, Patrice Thorne, told the conference they must adopt the all-in refreshed global strategy to meet the challenges of a changing world.
As accountants, we must remain nimble to serve with quality and to add value to our clients, communities, and governments. Aligned to ICAB's vision and mission, we at EY will shape the future with confidence by assisting our people, clients, and stakeholders to navigate and anticipate the challenges and opportunities ahead in this fast-changing world.
The anniversary celebrations will start with a service at the St. James Parish Church on November 3rd and culminate with a gala dinner and award ceremony at the Wyndham Grand Barbados Sam Lawrence Castle Resort. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Here's how the stocks traded locally and regionally today.
In Jamaica, Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited, with 5,978,649 units, was the volume leader, followed by QWI Investments Limited and Victon Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares. In Trinidad and Tobago, JMMB Group Limited was the volume leader, with 101,000 shares changing hands, for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $104,030, followed by NCB Financial Group Limited. And here in Barbados, Epley Caribbean Property Fund SCC Development Fund was the volume leader, trading 11,967 shares at Barbados 14 cents each, and they were followed by Barbados Farms Limited and Emira Deposit Receipt.
And that's it for tonight's business. We'll take a break and be back with the weather.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Morning Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morningbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
And we say goodnight to Carrie-Ann O'Neill to get some details about the weather picture.
Good evening to you, Wendy, and good evening, everyone. Well, today in Barbados, we had fair to partially cloudy skies along with just a few showers, as the ridge pattern was the dominant feature. Now, the winds across the region, they are moderate to breezy, and they're peaking at 20 knots. We're also tracking one tropical wave east of the region. Now, the maximum temperature today was 32 degrees Celsius, the minimum 25 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 27 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity, 83%. Those winds are coming in from the east. We take a look now at some atmospheric conditions across the region, where those warm temperatures are ranging from 27 to 29 degrees Celsius. The humidity shows moisture is building over there in St. Lucia as well as Trinidad. And the winds generally across the region, they are moderate at this time. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where we do have a tropical wave located at 40 degrees west. The system is moving towards the west. We are expecting that that system will spread some showers across the leewards on Thursday. But today, the ridge pattern was our dominant feature. As a result, we had fair to partially cloudy skies, just a few light showers. Now, later on tonight, we are expecting that we'll see a few more of those low-level clouds drifting across the area. As a result, we can expect clear along with cloudy periods and a few light showers. Meanwhile, those winds at this time, they are moderate for us here in Barbados. They're peaking at 20 knots. The seas, moderate and open water with swells now peaking at 2 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. Further south, we do have strong daytime heating, maintaining showers and thunderstorms across the Guianas. Over now in the Western Caribbean, a tropical wave maintained wet conditions across Puerto Rico. Elsewhere, strong daytime heating maintained localized afternoon showers as well as isolated thunderstorms. That's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 5:48 and will set at 5:39. Now, the first high tide is expected at 1:37 in the early morning, the first low at 7:55 a.m. The seas are moderate and open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. Those winds are coming in from the east to the east-northeast, and they're peaking at 30 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, we can expect a mix of clear and cloudy periods along with some light showers. And over the next 3 days, localized afternoon showers can be expected.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
And we say welcome back to Anne-Marie Burke for round 2 of sports.
And I start with football, as the 2024-25 edition of the CONCACAF Nations League will come to an end this week as teams continue to battle for promotion in next year's competition. All eyes will be on the worldly turf tomorrow night as Barbados is set to play their final group match against Bahamas. CBC's Almar Goodrich Boyce has the preview.
Barbados sits on top of Group A in League C with 9 points from 3 games and have already gained promotion to League B for next year's edition of the competition. Nevertheless, the Tridents will be hoping to maintain their perfect record and end on a winning note when they take on Bahamas at the Worldly Turf. Last month in the first leg, Barbados came from a goal down to defeat Bahamas 3-2, thanks to a strike from captain Andre Apoué at the Bethlehem Soccer Complex in St. Croix. Bahamas is the second highest ranked team in the group behind Barbados, and head coach Kent Hall says his team will not be underestimating them.
We recognize, we played against them and we watched them the other night, so we know the challenge that they face. We are prepared for that, and yeah, it's about execution. We know that they'll challenge us in a different way, and so we understand where those strengths are, and we're prepared to deal with that.
Having secured League B status, Hall says fans can expect a few changes to the previous playing 11.
We want to try always to reward the commitment, the effort that the guys put in, so wherever possible we do that, but we also know it's big boy football and the results are the name of the game, so we have to always be making sure we prioritize that. But we're at the same time very confident in the ability of all the players in the squad. So wherever possible, we always try to find opportunities to rotate the squad, and yeah, by all means, we will do that.
Striker Khalid Vanterpool Nurse is yet to get on the score sheet for this campaign, but he's buzzing to find the back of the net against Bahamas.
I feel ready. I just want to do my job when I get on the pitch. I feel like this win would be really important to us, my teammates. Set a statement, say that we're ready to play in League B, and hopefully keep pushing, keep the momentum going, and take it further.
Meanwhile, Bahamas captain Leslie St. Fleur believes his team will be victorious.
Well, moving forward, our game against Barbados is going to be the same way we played against USVI. The first game we played them, they got the best of us by mistakes. So this time we gonna fix the mistakes and hopefully we come over the win.
Kickoff is set for 8 p.m. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
Barbados' top men's table tennis player Tyrese Knight is into today's round of 32 at the ongoing 2024 ITTF Pan American Championships in El Salvador. Playing in the opening round, Knight defeated Gabriel Chavez of Costa Rica 4-2 at 17-15, 9-11, 11-9, 8-11, 11-1, 11-6. Knight is currently playing Leonardo Izuka of Brazil. And that's it for sports. So back over to you, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. We'll return after the break. Thanks for viewing. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.